A shirt and another sweater.
Tim, how you doing, baby? You too, bud.
Tim?
So cold weather.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
What are you here to complain about tonight? Every time you see me, you're driving. I'm used to it that way. You heard.
How you doing?
He lives there. He will cost a lot. And I said, oh, I didn't know. I said, that's his house. No,
Yeah. You asked about that. Thank you. Yeah, you called.
There you go.
I'm trying. What was that? If, I'm going to look in the morning for my employee handbook. If I can find it.
This was all you here. When the number two.
I'd like to check you up on all this.
Thanks, Aaron.
He was waiting outside to give it to me. He had to
Oh,
go.
yeah, here early.
Yeah.
I only got this. I can't find
Any of these?
Oh, I can find one. I meant to grab one from the
This is a book.
house, but I forgot.
Okay.
About a year and a half.
So to fit this one in.
This was supposed to be coming.
I had to get a marker.
I don't give them away. As soon as they come in.
Perfect, yeah. We weren't even touching the
All right.
What do we?
Well, sorry you have to do this.
Plug in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. We'll get you through it. Hey, Bobby. What is it? You're going to bring it up, you said? Yeah. What is it?
We traded in.
Yeah.
I said the trade in, I'll be holding one back. Sell electricity.
Okay.
Roll the floor to see. That's the monitor. Monitor now. That one in the nose.
Thank you.
So then.
Sounds like you got out there right in time. Ed thought we had a fire at 60 down the road.
All right.
Same number of you for the last days.
That's for Randy.
Hi, Sim.
I don't think Anna.
Man, when did you get on that weight?
Hey, kid. Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for 5 minutes late. We had a meeting going on that couldn't get Paul to be quiet, so blame it on Paul. All right. I want to call to order the Lawrenceburg Board of Works for December 4th, 2017. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Member Alan Calloway.
Here.
Police Chief Donnie Holmes. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Oh.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Here.
President
Oh, no, he's not here.
Well, this is just getting better and better.
President Kelly Milan.
I'm all screwed up. My name's Kelly Milan. Here.
And myself.
Aaron, don't laugh. Okay. Any announcements? I have none tonight. You guys got anything?
No.
All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
I passed out to everybody the run count for November. We had 66 total runs. board also know, we got some stuff coming up this week. We'll be participating in a tabletop exercise at the Ridgewood Health Campus. That's the first time we've been asked to do that, so it ought to be interesting and quite informative. Also on Saturday, we're doing a joint training with Manchester Township in regards to the S-Home. They've been wanting us to come out and take a look at the building with them, and we'll also take one of our aerial apparatus out and do some training that day. And then also, everybody's got these notes that I'm going over. I just listed some stuff where we've been assisting State Fire Marshal's office the past couple weeks with the inspection of Boogie Nights, Dearborn County Jail, and the ice rink, along with our other inspections we do. And we've been doing some pre-event walkthroughs with Lone Star down at the event center. We always walk through that before there's a concert, make sure everything is in place, no blocked exits, so on and so forth. So I did walk through the Agner Hall for the International Fair Trade Show. We had to do some corrective action there, but everything else went well. That's all I have.
All righty. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have for the board tonight is just want to let you know that we made a purchase of that vehicle and everything's complete and he has it. Everything going well with the trade goes to the cars that we had in. We got the new one.
Good.
And everything went fine. That's all right.
All right. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Yeah, Dale's working on our county agreement with riverboat money, so
Okay.
he's gonna probably bring that up. Also, our heart monitors are in,
Okay.
and I want to bring that up tonight. The invoice is made out for payment, and as we agreed to trade our old ones in for $4,000 apiece, and if we don't turn them in 60 days, they will bill us. And what I'd like to get permission from the board tonight is to hold one back, because we'd like to sell this to Rescue 69 for $4,000. Plus, we're going to sell them a mount for this for $300, so it'll be total $4,300. So then once we do this, we agree to this, Physio Controls will send us another bill for $4,000, which this was offset the difference.
Okay.
Bill's approval to do that.
So you're just asking to hold one of the three
Just
back
hold one
for
back, and
yeah.
Next week we're going to have training tomorrow and Thursday, and probably Friday these are going to be on the truck. So
Okay.
Friday and next week we'll probably go ahead and sell this to Rescue 69.
Okay. Any issues with that, guys? No. Okay, I'd like to get that in the form of a motion, though, I think. Motion on the floor would be to retain one of the three heart monitors that were previously approved to trade in, and then it will be sold to Rescue 69.
Motion.
Second? I'll second. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion will carry. Thanks, Bobby. Anything else?
I'll just let the board know that we did get first place in the Christmas parade with our club.
Yeah, I know you did, and you did a very nice job. You really did.
They're really good.
Yes. Yes.
I'd like the Eddie Canoe toy giveaway. We had all three of you there. They did a good job. And I know Connie appreciates it, and we all do.
You appreciate that float, or that golf cart too, didn't you, Connie? I seen your post, yeah. Good. All right. Anything else? Entertain new business, Johnny Tremaine, Fire Protection Services Agreement?
Yeah, Dale, did you want to touch on this at all, or?
Yes, sure.
As soon as he gets situated.
Sorry.
Come on, you're holding us up.
I have it.
A little history about this. This is, if you heard where State Board of Accounts got on the county for not having signed agreements for riverboat sharing that they were doing, this is result of that. There's 21 departments in the county, so that's when you read through it, says 121. That means we get one share of that 5%.
Yep.
And then I forwarded to Dell, make sure he was good with it.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that, and I apologize for scrambling around. And it's the same agreement that we do every year with the county, and it's like Chief said, it's just a way to report our revenue sharing and our the way that we kind of split up the fire protection costs.
Okay. Any questions, guys? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the fire protection services agreement with the county.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mario Todd Verdon Bell renewal.
Yes, Your Honor. 5 locations, pretty typical for the past 15, 20 years. Plus, we get a discount if we act now on the early bird pricing.
Right. Of course, they would have that in there. All right. Any questions regarding this, guys?
I'd like to make a motion, we move forward with letting the staff sign the agreement.
All right. I guess second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other new business? I have none tonight. Any old business?
Can I back up to new business?
Yep.
Something from Mario I talked about earlier. Up there on Preble Road, there's a pole that is right up by Alan Judy's property, and it's real close to the road, and I guess when they sprayed it, they come up through there and then they kind of zigged around. Is there any way of maybe putting a reflector sign or something on that pole just to let people know that might have wide mirrors, that they don't smack them off that pole?
That's going to be removed,
In
right?
fact, they're working on it today even to remove that pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If they don't get it removed tomorrow, we can get a reflector up
We'll
there.
put some signage up there.
Just something to let people know that it's there.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Anything else?
No.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. I need a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That motion will carry. All right, Parks and Playgrounds as soon as we're seated.
I haven't seen you, Randy. How you doing? Good.
Back here. All right. Welcome to the Parks and Playgrounds meeting for December 4th, 2017. I'd like to get a roll call, please.
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right, announcements. Anybody got anything up here regarding the parks?
Mayor, I got one thing.
Okay, I was going to, go ahead.
I'd like to thank the police department for working hard on our investigation with the park and coming up with some people there.
That does a lot of help. We put it on social media and people start pouring in, good information.
Thanks, Donnie. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
See, social media is good for something.
Good for something.
That's right.
Has anyone been arrested yet, Don?
Yes.
Okay. 4?
Good.
What's the chances that we could get them 4 people working at the parks all summer this year for nothing?
Very good. I like that idea.
I talked to the judge on that one, I guess.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right, any other announcements? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Any new business under Parks and Playgrounds?
I got something I'd like to bring up.
Yes, sir.
I get a lot of conversation that comes out of Wormy's Bait Shop. And then I got a call from Mr. Abbott. And it so happens, and I'd like for council to try to make a decision tonight. I don't think it would cost the city anything except labor and time. But a lot of requests for a primitive camp fish area. And the people always bring up, and it makes sense, to the left of the new boat ramp. Now, I know we got a lot of restrictions on what we can do in those areas, but I think that if we keep it to a minimum of just clearing the lay down brush, doing, I don't even know if you'd call it mowing or not, because there's really no grass over there. We've already, the way I understand it, from a few of the former employees, there's been some fire rings laying in the city garage area for years, and picnic tables. Maybe we want the picnic tables, maybe we don't, but it would just be a matter of designating an area, possibly putting a sign up, whatever you carry in, you carry out, and then having the labor to clean it or mow it or bush hog it or whatever you would say. But I would like council to think about it, because it hasn't been mentioned once or twice. It's been mentioned dozens of times to me over probably a 4 or 5 year period.
Can I make a suggestion? I've heard that as well from folks. What if, I mean, is there anything that would restrict us from doing that? I mean,
just the improvements.
okay. What improvements? Firing?
To place a fire ring there, I think he would be much more than that, probably kind of limited.
Well, it's going to be primitive camping, right?
Primitive.
But just, you know, and there again, that's something we could look into.
As long as they bury their latrine.
Well, there's already a,
Yeah.
I think we got portalets down there.
Yeah, there is.
And there again, something to think about. It's still in the books. We have a proposed plan, which we were going to kind of wait until the final restoration is done, where we have the container for all the creek dredging. That would also be primitive. The only difference would be there would be a drive, a circle drive, and some paved areas where people could not just carry a tent out in camp, but for the fishermen, they'd be able to park their truck and boat there.
Well, why don't we? I think it's a good idea. Unless anybody has objection to it, why don't? I think it sounds like Tony and Paul have been sort of.
Yeah, we went down and looked at it.
Well, can we do this and get a couple other folks and just come back with a recommendation of what area and what to do down there, and then we'll get it. As far as the labor piece, that's not a big deal.
There's a pretty defined, it's like a wash, Mike, that.
Paul, could you meet with me this
Yep.
week down there so I get a better feel for exactly where?
That work?
I can try to put something then on mapping that the whole board can take a look at.
All right, so if Tony and Paul both could meet with you down there in that way,
Yep.
and come back and say, hey, this is the area we're looking at, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
great. Any other new business? Any old business?
Do we have parts and everything ordered for the Ledlow Hill Park damage, or does that stuff have to lay there for further investigation for a while, or?
No, we're done with it.
You're done? We can get it picked up, but we have everything ordered?
No, we have nothing ordered.
I thought Olin told me that Well, they were checking on,
Correct, we're
checking
still
on
waiting.
pricing and everything like that, that's right.
We push out a little bit and get it
Yep.
fixed.
Yeah. We're pushing the fiber too, so we can get the cameras up there. Anyway, any other old business, guys? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion to adjourn? So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion will adjourn. Okay, it's passed.
Can we go back and see Board of Works real quick? 'Cause we had two agreements, not one, with the county. See, it's one's fire protection, one's emergency management. That's my fault.
Can we wait until,
It's up to you.
I mean, can we?
As long as it's done before the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll do it.
You want to do that? Okay. No problem.
All right, sorry about that. I want to call the utility board to order December 4th, 2017. Utility director is out of town, but we can at least go down and approve the claims. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director is absent. President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements from you guys regarding utilities? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. No committee reports, no new business, no old business. I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I'd like to call to order the City of Lawrenceburg City Council for meeting for December 4th, 2017. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a preempt here. We have a public hearing scheduled for 6:45. It's 6:25 now. So at 6:45, we may have to pause and out of this meeting and go back in. The public hearing is for the additional appropriations for the remainder of the year. Okay, I'll entertain a roll call, please.
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen, absent. Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
All right. Announcements. Let's go to board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs. Mr. Aaron Cook.
Mayor, the only thing I was going to ask about was the earthquakes on Front Street over there, and Mario has been handling that, so I guess that's getting taken care of one way or the other.
Your Honor, we did take a seismograph over and did a check on it last Friday.
Okay.
Met with the complainant. She was actually on site and watched us do a 20-ton bump over the area.
Did the house shake?
No.
No?
No. She said we were going too slow. The problems are with semis, tractor and trailers hitting it at a high speed. She had actually reached out to Air Gas. We actually were trying to find a contact number, let the mayor reach out to them also. So in saying that, she thinks that'll resolve the issues that Front Street's seeing right now.
Yeah, I'd be happy to call and talk to her. Okay. Anything else in the storm area?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. All right, Finance, Mr. Tony Abbott.
Everything looks fine.
All right, sir. Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Paul Seymour Jr.
Nothing.
All right, Fire, Randy Abner.
Okay, we had the breakfast with Sandy and the parade Saturday, and I guess that everybody had a good time, all involved. That's Told Johnny the seats were a little slippery on the vehicle we had in the parade, but other than that, everything went fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what they've said about Saturday. The parade, I believe we had one of the biggest, and now this is only my second one, so I guess I don't have much to compare it to, but from what I've been told, it was one of the biggest crowds that we've had for quite some time. And the snowmen that you see on Walnut Street, Main Street, as an activity that Main Street came up with, has been a hit. And I think it's going to be something we're going to be known for each year. So I expect that, or I hope that snowmen come back again next year, but maybe with different faces.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, I bet you will. Everybody was.
I was hoping it snowed so I can make some snowballs.
All right, here you go. Here you go. Get up. Whatever.
Speaking of that, Mayor, I'd like to bring up one time.
Yes.
That was such a beautiful weekend with Main Street did the parade, the Christmas, everything, the Santa Claus. And you know what I'm talking about here. We had one guy come down here in our town from out of state and ruin it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I want Dale to look into it and see if there's anything we can stop this guy from doing this again, because he's going to be here at every little parade or anything we have anymore.
I agree.
And if it just comes up to something we can put in front of that truck, just to block the view of it, if we're legally allowed to do that, I'm willing to do something like that.
You have to be careful about the First Amendment.
We do. It's the First Amendment, but can we block it? Can we just put something up in front of it?
There are steps that we can take. I mean, obviously I heard about this over the weekend. I saw your post and talked to the mayor, and free speech is not absolute, and especially when it's injurious, and certainly a profanity and obscenity in the view of families and children is potentially injurious. So there are things that we can do, and I've got some research that suggests that we can regulate this kind of behavior. We have to allow an open forum for speech and for political expression, but there are limits to that. And
now, this was right next to the Santa Claus Castle, when I thought I was the only one who could get Your Honor riled up, but this man did a pretty good job of it.
But I kept my cool.
Yes, he did.
I did.
But I will,
you're right.
I'll get something in front of all of you guys that you could approve or modify that would protect our citizens and prevent that kind of situation in the future.
Thank you, because I know he will be back.
Yep.
Yep. Good point. Okay. Well, now that we're ending on a downer, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
That move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports from Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
All I have is everybody's got a copy of the runs for November, 66 total, and that's all I have, man.
Okay. How about Police Chief Donnie Combs?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to this board know that I received a phone call from a lady last week. Her name is Jill Holvader, and she runs this Hope for Heroin. And she wants to put on a 2-day rally in our area, which would consist, she would need a big parking lot, and what they do music, food, and all sorts of things of that sort. So what I did is I referred her to CASA, the CASA group. I handle things like that, and I'll get some updates from Donna Thacker if she's gotten a hold of her.
Okay.
And I'll keep you updated.
All right.
If this does come in and do that, but I'll refer her there.
Okay.
So I think it would be a good thing.
All right.
It needs to be organized, all logistics and everything.
Okay.
Another note is we had myself and my assistant chief had a lunch meeting with Stop Stick Friday, and they want to come down Lawrenceburg again and use us to shoot some footage, some other sticks that they're doing, some other quills that they've put in some sticks and all that. I've already gotten a hold of the safety director on this, and kind of inform him. And,
okay.
Probably doing that pretty soon. We have some logistics. I think we're going to do a first phase on that this month, and then another time maybe January.
Are you and Mr. Snyder going to need some makeup or anything? Going to be
we're not
movie
gonna be
stars?
on TV.
Oh, okay.
Get some other better looking people in there.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think David just said who's better looking than me. Okay, all
I
right.
want to share with the board that, that sign that I was talking about, that internet exchange that we have at our police department, which is on camera, it's well lit, where people can come in when they buy or sell things. We put this on our social media, which it has like 140 some thousand hits.
Yep.
So that's a huge deal there. So, and I haven't personally know if anyone's actually done that or not. I haven't personally seen it during the day, but I don't think they really come and tell us if they actually do. But I think it's a pretty good deal.
Good deal.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. EMS Director, Bobby Mills. All right, sir. All right, new business, Mario Todd, the rubber flooring for the community center.
Thank you, Your Honor. If anybody attended the Breakfast with Santa at the community center, you probably saw a covering on the gym floor.
Yes.
And that's what it is. It's an 18 mil poly protective flooring covered.
Okay.
In the packet, I think it has the pricing on.
Yeah.
Only thing different from your packet would be a tan instead of the blue.
Are they wanting the storage rack as well?
The community center will purchase the storage rack themselves.
Are they going to purchase the gym floor cover too?
I think that's what they're asking this board to do. Right now, we're borrowing the flooring from the
High school. Yeah. Okay.
We do have another price on it. Locally, it was from Cincinnati, from Borgman Sports, and it was $7,200
For the floor cover itself?
for the covering, correct.
Okay.
To the 4D.
The floor cover did come in handy. I was over there and it protects the new floor that we just paid, what, $150,000 for?
Right.
So, okay.
And we've used it also, they borrowed it for the
Fall
Fall
Fest.
Fest.
Yep.
And I think we have a
Okay.
breakfast with the Easter Bunny coming up.
Oh, okay. Easter Bunny stopping by. All right. Well, questions, comments, motion?
You just mentioned that they're buying the racks.
Right.
So what are you asking us to approve, Mario? Can you give me a?
That would be, Paul, bear with me a second, would be the 498424.
Okay.
Plus shipping. They've lumped the shipping together with the rack, as you see down at the bottom, $506. I'm saying our portion is probably going to be closer to $450 for shipping for that.
Yeah, okay.
Matt.
So the motion would be to approve the $49.84.24 plus shipping.
Correct.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the gym floor cover for the community center at a price of $49.84.24 plus shipping?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you.
That's all I had, Your Honor.
All right, any other new business for council? Old business. Under construction dredging update. Just tell us it's going well.
I believe so.
Your Honor, take a second, hook up for a PowerPoint.
Okay, let me ask you, how long is your presentation?
Doesn't take long. It depends on the questions I get.
Okay, well, we can suspend it and ask questions, whatever. I just want to, at 6:45, we have to suspend.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
It won't take long. What is the status of the bridge on the walking trail down by Hollywood?
The bridge.
Proposed bridge for the trail.
Trail.
Oh, for the trail? Well, we've received some feedback from the Corps about how far you can put footings into the levee, which I think was 3 foot.
3 foot, yes.
That's from the top down.
Right. So there was there had to be what do you call it? Another option made available in order to make that happen.
Why don't we divert the trail and let them go through the town
Mhm.
and then come back up on the levee.
That's an option.
Then we wouldn't have to worry about,
We can certainly talk about it.
you know, we were on the Appalachian Trail and there were 2 or 3 towns where the trail runs right through the middle of town.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about it. Sure? Okay. So is everybody ready for cold weather? Connie? I'm not ready either. My goodness. But we've been fortunate thus far, so. Is it tomorrow? Okay. Thursday, get cold. Snow next week, I heard. Got your snow boots, Tim?
It's December.
He can't hear. He can't hear, can he? I've always talked about him in front of him, and he never heard me.
He's talking about you right now.
I don't like my hearing.
That's right there. For some reason, the signal's not really.
It's all good.
You know, you guys.
Comes to a council meeting without hearing aids.
He doesn't want to hear it. So.
That's smart.
It's smart.
Some background noise.
That's what it is.
Tony, why don't you lead us in a Jingle Bell song or something?
You don't want that.
That'll be on the next meeting. You don't want, that's our last one before Christmas, that's right. Tony's leading the carols that night.
It's better, Aaron. You want to do it?
That's
a night you don't want to bring your hearing aids.
I'm just picturing Assistant Chief Snyder going across those stop sticks with the Segway. So that's another picture. That's what I'm picturing right now.
Imagine that, right?
Yeah. I mean, adventure.
Oh, well.
We've got a bad connector. I think the council has the pass out.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to just base upon that?
Yes, if you would, please.
All right.
We apologize.
By the way, we're looking into new audio-visual for this room, so.
It's been taped up.
It looks like it's been repeated a few times.
What's he?
You need something more advanced than what we got here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So have you come to the podium to go over the...
All right. Hello, my name's Bobby Sanker with Utter. Nice to meet you guys.
Pleasure.
We're the contractors privileged enough to be able to do the dredging down at your ramp.
That's what we got.
And while we were down there, we performed some sounding for you guys, which is basically underwater topography of the sediment deposits in the creek. We did a sounding from basically the river back to the ramp, and then also on the upstream side of the ramp around the double bends. And you'll see in here basically what our soundings found. I did do a design grade in AutoCAD, just going off of the designs we've got from your gentleman here, and build it to that. Kind of, you'll see where the trouble spots are basically from the river to station, say, 8 or 9. That's where you're going to find a majority of your sediment that's left, other than what was in front of the ramp itself. In here, you're going to see the volume report that I have is at 52,000 for a cut volume, export 37,000. The 37,000 is what's towards the front portion. The rest of it is what you'll find kind of towards the rest of the creek. So basically from station 8 to 0, which is at the river, is where you're going to find about 30,000 cubic yards of material that's still in there that needs to be dredged to get it down to the elevation I've got designed. But that's your trouble spot, other than what was in front of the ramp itself.
Can you explain to them the elevation proposed, what depth that is?
Yeah, the elevation proposed is 440. That's going out to the river. 447 was the portion that was more upstream on the other side of the ramp. Most of the sediment you're going to see in there, my thing right here, most of the sediment we found towards the mouth of the river was up around 452, 3, 450, 449, stuff like that. The water itself elevation when we performed the sounding was 454.68. So you're pretty close to the river, or to the water's level, throughout the mouth, by the river, up to station
So how deep is it now?
6.
How deep is it now with the
Right
sediment?
now, if you start at 0, out there by the river itself, the sediment out there, you're only a couple feet deep. There is a little bit of a channel towards the edge. Then you drop into about 6 feet, 7 feet, 5 feet, all the way down to about station 5. Then it starts dropping to 10 feet plus.
Okay.
It stays consistent about 10 to 15 foot deep after that. It really wasn't as bad a shape as what we thought it would be, to be honest with you. But
Oh, really?
yeah, you just got that trouble spot that's up there by the river, and then obviously the one that was by the ramp itself that we're trying to fix now.
So there's a narrow lane virtually all the way down through their channel, about 12 foot, back to where we just stopped at.
Okay.
And saying that, up there at the mouth, where it's stacked up, kind of envision it to be an upward swing. Well, that's going to keep stacking back to where we just dredged, if that's not cleared out.
Okay. Mike?
And just to expand on what he's told you, the mouth of the river is the absolute worst spot. And then honestly, if you go upstream for their stations to station 2+50 to 3+00, that's another bad spot. And there again, if those get opened up, thought is that it'll help keep the entire creek clean. But you're going to have a never-ending issue with the head of the Ohio River causes that to silt up. Now, how many years has it taken to?
I don't say, when's the last time we dredged the mouth of the creek? Never?
As far as I know.
So it may be, way beyond my lifetime.
So like I say, there's really two critical spots, all of it.
And once that is dredged, or if it does get dredged, and I see Tom sitting in on us, we could wheel wash that or have a tug, and Tom, once a year, go in there and keep that cleaned out. Not to knock gutter out of a.
No, I mean, that's
future
good
dredging
PM
job,
right there. I mean, yeah.
But that would be a maintenance procedure we could do.
Can you give us an idea? You know right now how many cubic yards of dirt that you've taken out of the ramp area?
Correct.
Do you have an idea in them two locations, or can you compare what you just did to what we might think about doing? Can you give us an idea of is this a lot smaller? Is this?
Actually, right now, Kenny, 15,000 is about what we've took out so far, and if you're looking at around 30,000 here, now it is a little bit more upstream, or downstream, I should say, so we would have to have a hopper barge where a tug would basically ship it back and forth, but production-wise, it'd probably be about the same, because we're going to be constantly loading either one of the other hoppers.
So this would be a bigger dirt project than what we just did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, yes. Now, there are other ways of dredging. I know we've done around the hydraulic dredge as well, and then there's the mechanical dredging, which is what we're doing currently.
Now, it's kind of surprising if anybody gets a chance to run down there and look, because you've built a containment area. It's pretty full.
Yeah.
So we'll probably, if we can think about this thing, we would probably have to turn in for a whole new permit, new containment area, and what would be the chances, Mike, of making this project happen this winter while?
I think time to get the plan, the permitting, and figure out what we're going to do with the landfill or dredge material. I don't see that happening.
Okay, we'll end on that thought right now, and we're going to have to just pause. It's 6:45, so make it known in the minutes that we're pausing at 6:45 for the
Public hearing of additional appropriations for the remainder of 2017. Any comments from you guys up here? Brittany's here to answer whatever questions you may have, or I can chime in if I know what we're talking about here too. But this covers the remainder of the year. Or, yes, the remainder of the year. This has to be done by ordinance, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we get to do the fun ordinance game. All right, what's the number?
Thank you, Your Honor, and this is a public hearing that was properly published, and it is a hearing for an ordinance on additional appropriation, City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation and reduction ordinance number 14-2017, and having opened up the hearing for the public and without any public comment and without questions and comments from the council, if it pleases Your Honor, I'll go ahead with the first reading.
Let me give a chance to the public. I didn't really address the public. Y'all have anything you want to say or ask about? Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget, now therefore, Section 1 be it ordained by the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, that for the expenses of the taxing and the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to laws governing the same. And the ordinance lists the fund names, as well as the individual funds, the amount requested, and then the amount approved by the Common Council. If there are no modifications sought, then the amount that is approved would be the amount requested.
Okay. For clarification purposes, you know, when we do the budget at the beginning of the year, as we just passed 2018's budget, it's a snapshot of what we think it's going to be. Obviously, as we even found out tonight, there's always going to be projects and other things that come up that you're going to have to adapt to and change your appropriations. So this is no different than any time we have to do this. But any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 14-2017.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance number 14-2017 by title only.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Please read ordinance 14-2017 for the second reading by title only, please.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. It's City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation and reduction ordinance number 14-2017.
All right, I need a motion to approve ordinance number 14-2017 for the second reading.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance number 14-2017 for the third and final reading.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Please read ordinance number 14-2017 for the third and final reading, please, by title only.
Additional appropriation and reduction ordinance number 14-2017.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 14-2017 for the third and final reading.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, Brittany. As always, Brittany does an amazing job with these ordinances, and she prepared this one.
You said that because she's sitting here tonight.
I did.
Yeah.
We love you, Brittany.
Okay, let it be known in the minutes that we are coming back to City Council meeting for December 4th, 2017 at 6:50 p.m. 6:50 p.m. So, in the middle of your comment, you can start again.
So
Okay, and Paul, to address your question.
You'd already said that. You gotta start that later.
In theory, it's possible, but I wouldn't bet on it. I mean, because we're gonna have, I believe it's April 15 to June 15, the fish spawn that is no work time of year. In theory, it's possible. I think more likely it would probably be the summertime, but there's a lot of things that have to yet be determined. We would need this board or someone to authorize us to go ahead and move forward. We've got to determine the means, you know, is it going to be mechanical? Is it going to be hydraulic? Is it going to be a combination of the two? Got to come up with a good, solid plan to submit with a new application. Do this, and hopefully the timing will work out. Like I say, in theory, it's possible. I'm just not sure, but we can definitely move forward to see when we can get this in play. You know, we've still got to determine too, what are we going to do with the materials? We do have a couple options. We have to research and explore, but also be aware too, this project is going to be a lot pricier than what.
Let me ask you a question. I guess when I kept hearing from a lot of the boaters and the fishermen about the problem we have down there, it was all related to the dock area. I never ever heard anything about the mouth of the river. Did anyone else?
All the time.
Okay. Well, I
got a little.
Okay. Bobby? Okay.
Experience firsthand, I mentioned it.
David, you get people? Okay.
Yeah, we got 3 feet on our deck.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. Okay. Yes, sir?
Can I ask a question?
You sure can.
Potter? So that 30,000 yards.
Coming to the podium.
Sure. Sure. So, I just have a quick question. So that 30,000 yards, it's 30,000 yards at the mouth of the river. So that channel is basically 4 foot wide, 2 foot deep, roughly, right? So how far east are you looking to dredge coming back down the creek?
Roughly about 300 feet, 250 feet, something like that, 250, 300. And then there's another section that he mentioned as well, like 250 to 350 in the station, so like another 100-foot section past that. So entirety, maybe 250 to 350.
Okay. So what's the ramp up to that point? Because that 4-foot channel remains all the way down to the docking area.
Well, no, I mean, once you get to about 400 feet back from the river, it clears out.
Okay, clears out pretty good? Okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
And plus, David's going to do the removal of the trees, anything hung up on the piers at the 2 bridge structures also.
If you get a chance tomorrow, stop in. I've got something where we can go station by station. I can show you what's there and what should be.
It might be hindsight, but why, when the permit, why wasn't a permit issued with extensions and with maintenance dredging? Why was the permit just issued flat permit and that's all? Didn't anyone suggest that you consider a maintenance dredging?
That's what this is under, a maintenance dredging.
Okay, so why do you have to extend then? I don't understand why you have to.
Because it goes from point A to point B. They're very specific about what areas they permit. And we didn't have that information. And honestly, guys, you know, we know this area here to here is ours. I'm not saying that what we're looking at is the city's responsibility, but in long term to keep our area open. If we don't do something out there, we won't have enough draw or suction to keep our area clean.
Well, me personally, you know how I am. I need to see something, numbers, and see what we're going to get for what we're paying. Okay. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
One thing that I'd like to know: if we do open up the mouth of the river, will that slow down the buildup of the sediment in the future?
It'll slow it down, but it's not going to keep it from happening. Anytime that water changes direction, sediment will build up, it'll drop out. That's why in the bends you're seeing the same thing. The meandering bends that flow will take the outside bank a lot of times and erode it. and then deposit it down a little bit, which basically coming down that curve, you see downstream, taking that outer bank, you see like sandbars, deposits, any type of landform, any bends or any change in flow, which the river is the change in flow of water. So it slows that water down, gives it a chance to settle out. So I don't think we're going to see it go away, but it definitely could help out, like he's saying, give it a little bit more flow to flush it out.
And if we can flush it on an annual event with, a piece of equipment, that's going to help.
Got a question. Do we get any sediment buildup also because of things that gather along our bridge abutments, the trees and the limbs? Does that also slow the sediment down? Because if we've never done this before, and how much money did we put into the new ramp when we did it? I mean, if we're not going to put money in it from the ramps to the creek, it's our park, and man, it gets used. I just think can we keep our costs down if we have a regular schedule and we look at this thing to keep it? We don't have to let it get this high, do we?
No, I mean, I'm with you on that, because like you said, you don't even know when the last time you've done this, if at all. So you're looking at how long's it been there to now. So if you were to do it, a good cleaning on it, if you would, get it down to the design we kind of put on it.
So we're really, when we say, hey, the sediment's going to build up and it's going to happen again, me and you might not see it.
Yeah, correct.
Or we can at least slow it down too, right? If we keep the mouth of the river flushed out, right?
It'll help push it out.
Okay. Well, I think that's the second piece. It's the first piece is we got to get this cleared out, right? So I think we need to see a proposal. Yes, sir?
Can we get authorized to go ahead and do some options to get those proposals?
Options like such as?
We're going to probably contact some folks and see if we can deposit some material on them.
Because we don't have room down there, do we?
What about filling in that, I don't know what you want to call it, a little bitty creek that's coming down through there? Can we put the...
No.
I'm not filling in, but put some pipe in there.
There's a big difference in floodway, which that creek is.
Yeah.
In a floodway, versus in floodplain, which is where our containment area is now. There is a big difference in what you can't do in the knitting and mitigation process. So we have to be very careful about where we do plan to deposit.
Well, what I'd like to see, and I don't know if the rest of you all feel the same way I do, is I'd like to see a quote estimate of, okay, what's the dredging going to cost us, but included in that is the disposal.
Yeah,
so we want to know everything.
We have to follow this out to find out what makes what type of dredging.
Right.
And where we are going to have our containment area.
Okay.
Really, before we put someone on the spot to come up with a price that really means anything.
All right, well, we need to get started.
Do you think there's some way we could look in for maybe some kind of grants from the state? Waterway, I mean.
We would have to check into that. I mean,
Yeah, we can look.
You know, that
if there's emergency grants where they could
do something like that, I could see that delaying the project, but we can always look into it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we are sort of under a time constraint, I guess, so. All right, well, if it's
I'd like to make a motion that we have our staff move forward and give us a monthly report on where they're at on this project. I'd like for them to push it a little bit. I do understand your restraints, but I would like to make a motion that we have them move forward on this project and bring us back something that we could put out for proposals.
Not to add to the motion, I'll get to that, but also I think we need to have some kind of a maintenance, what's it it gonna cost us at a yearly maintenance to keep that mouth of the river clear?
See, if we get it clean.
I need a budget for that.
If we get it clean, then we can look at different means and methods on doing that.
Okay.
On an annual basis, that'll be reduced considerably.
And might I suggest maybe an annual topography or a sounding or maybe a buy, you know, where you can go in and check it and just say, hey, well, it don't even look like we need it this year. And
Right.
maybe the following year instead of
Good point.
settling on someone coming in and cleaning it out every year, just do a sounding and see what you got.
I just don't like these big numbers, you know? So, okay. Motion on the floor. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for your help. Any other old business?
I got a couple things.
Yes, sir.
We've got 2 jobs that I'm curious about. First one, our window job over here at Clerk Treasurer's. I haven't seen the bill come across, and I'm glad.
Oh, the window jobs.
Now, my question is, when that company turns their bill in, I hope all we're going to pay them for is the actual material product and no labor at all.
Yeah, Brittany got a
I
comment.
believe we did get the invoice for them from Seeger Glass, and we did send it through we took out labor.
Correct, we haven't paid any labor.
So, only material.
Correct.
Are we going to get somebody in there to open up the outside, clean all that up, insulate around the window, they can blow some foam in there or something? It's an aluminum window, the frame's gonna be cold. The way they caulked it doesn't look all that great. I know we can get a better job than that on there. I understand they did the inside, but the outside's still looking awful rough.
We've got a mason coming in from Top Quality to give us pricing on it yet this week.
Can, before we tidy that up on the outside, can we blow foam around that window? Because the way I understand it, and the last time I looked, there wasn't a bit anything around that window. And I know right now they could still do it from the outside if we got more work to do. The other thing that I've got is our demo project. I know this is not a council project. I don't want to stick my business in where it ain't wanted. I want to make a recommendation. We have councilmen that are sitting on redevelopment. I recommend that I'm hoping we only pay 75% of that bill because we didn't get a complete contract. We left the foundation in. If the bill comes across to redevelopment in the next meeting, I hope you guys, I'm only one person, but that's my recommendation, and I would like for council to weigh in on that. We don't have to do it. That's just what I would like to recommend and make a motion that we do on that particular bill.
I agree, Paul. If we didn't get a complete job, I don't think we should pay for a complete job. If there's some mitigating reason, then we need to know about it and adjust the price accordingly.
Mario?
Yes, we've got the information. There was foundations left in there. They're loose rock foundations. They're not a poured foundation. It was the express opinion of 2 engineers to leave those in place. We have that documentation. If council would like to have it sent to them, we'll supply it to them. The geotech, PE, same way. It was to leave the integrity of the sidewalks and the adjacent buildings intact.
Let me ask a question then. I agree with, I've seen the reports, and I agree with that. But does it warrant, does it warrant a not 100% job done, since it was a scope change, is what I'm asking?
Well,
it wasn't a scope change. In fact, it was addressed in the mandatory pre-bid meeting that our wishes are to remove everything and put back, but that was going to be determined as the project moved forward, that there may be some areas if the engineers deemed it for stabilization and safety reasons to not remove it. And I think that's the information that Mario got, that, you know, the engineers, low timeout, you're going to lose sidewalks, possible utilities, or could adversely affect the adjoining building. And that's when it was decided not to. So the scope was there that, you know, we would like to see everything removed, but, you know, bid it to do so. But if we have an area that is unsafe to do that, then we will make that call during.
So, but the bid was based upon removal.
Okay, now here's my question
Based
too.
upon 100%.
That sidewalk's gonna come out, right?
Eventually, yes.
So now will we have to pay extra to have that foundation removed?
No,
Or
and I don't know
when the
why.
building is, or the new building goes in there, will they use that foundation, or will they have to remove that?
That's a loose rock foundation, Tony.
So they'll have to remove it then?
Well, if it's in the way of their section, cross-section with their design, yes.
I'm sure it will be.
Well,
It's gonna go up to the sidewalk no matter what, the building will, right?
correct.
And the
correct.
foundation's there, so they'll have to remove it.
But it may not go to depth. In other words, if that foundation is 10 foot, they may only go 5 foot.
Well, the foundation I seen wasn't no 10 foot under or nothing. I mean, they'll have to remove it to pour a new foundation.
Well, the building they build, again, you don't know the design. It may be on a auger cast. It may not have poured concrete all the way around it. Are you with me?
Well,
So we've, every
could be,
building,
but more than likely, there's gonna be a foundation poured there.
every building we've demoed in the city of Lawrenceburg probably has foundations left in it. At Walnut Street, the row houses foundation. The other redevelopment house we just tore down, the green one, I don't know what the address is, by St. Lawrence.
Well, my point is I don't want to pay to have a foundation removed and not be removed, but
Why
then
would you
somebody
pay,
else will have to pay
why
to
would
have
you
it
pay
moved.
anything? You're probably going to give the property away to a developer, correct, to build?
Well, it'll be an
What
agreement.
happened
You don't-
to our statements that we've heard in the past about having to get these lots build ready?
Well, you guys use the term shovel-ready. I've heard.
I've never used it. I've heard it come, but I've never used it.
And, you know, as you know, I don't like that word shovel-ready because it has a broad stroke to it, depending which side of the shovel you're on. Why would you pay anybody to take those foundations out? Like, say, you're going to give a discount incentive deal for that property, correct?
Yes, but we took the foundations out of the parking lot over here on Front Street.
You know why? You didn't pay to have that building tore down, correct?
No, well,
No, it was a mitigation, that was a
of a
mitigation,
lawsuit.
correct.
So, yeah, you can say we still paid for it.
Correct, correct. I'm the one that told you foundations were left in there, correct?
Right.
And there were deep foundations. Now, this board, I should say, the redevelopment board said they wanted it shovel-ready. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. It wasn't shovel-ready with those deep foundations in there. We brought that information back to the board. They said they were going to have Ryan Howard remove those foundations. Correct?
Don't remember that. Because last I remembered, the foundations were supposed to stay in there because of possible use for the next.
The deep foundations did stay in there, and we've located them, plotted them, so you can give a map to whoever that developer is.
Okay.
Correct?
Look, let's get back to the right lot. We had a bunch of loose rock foundation and we had some sidewalk that was sitting this far on top of the foundation. That track code could have removed every bit of that foundation underneath the sidewalk without disturbing anything, and you are right. There was probably 50 feet of foundation on the adjoining nice buildings on High Street that needed to be left alone, and for the safe being, you need to stay probably about 10 feet away from that. We didn't need to get over to the Carpenter's Hall. We needed to stay about 10 feet away from that. But you cannot convince me, and if the engineering company wants to give me a report that says that those should have been left in there, then we don't need to be hiring them to do any more work. There's not a reason in the world why them foundations shouldn't have been took all out, probably 75% of them. And if this board is going to vote, we're the voting members. If we're going to vote on a contract and we're going to okay it, it ought to be up to us when that contract is varied from. Period. End of story. The only thing I want to do here tonight is nothing's going to get changed, but I want it known from now on that when we vote on something, it gets done the way it is in the contract. Period. Got another one.
Well, wait a minute, back to that one though. I'm not satisfied with this yet, because if I have to, redevelopment board has to pay again to have that foundation removed when we've already paid for it once, that's not right.
Well, I guess my question, why would you pay, you're going to have a developer develop a building on that site, correct?
Yep.
And you're going to give him the parameters or the scope of what type of...
So we're going to put that cost onto the developer.
Yes.
It's already been paid for to be done.
I don't want to punish the guy that did the work, because personally I think he did a hell of a job.
Okay, but tell me this, Paul, if he spent 20 hours less there, then shouldn't he deduct 20 hours of that?
As Paul will tell you, those are loose foundations. The size excavator he had there, just a matter of probably an hour and a half, he could have excavated every loose rock out of there.
At the right timing. At the right timing, he could have had them all out of there, nothing would have been done, it would have been good. I know it happened on a Friday, it happened on the holiday weekend. I've made my point. That's it. We've taken worse hits than this. Let's move on with it.
But, and Paul, you said that that was a $200,000 job up there.
That's my point, Mario. We just left part of the foundation in, and what you said a little bit ago about all over town that we've got foundations in, I have been preached to that when we demo a house, we take all the foundations out. The first one that I can remember us leaving any part of foundation in is when we got away from, we started making homeowners demo their own houses. Now, I have hit garbage and foundations in several areas around town. It's not that big a deal. My whole point on this is we had a guy there doing the job, the foundation was in there, we had a stretch of foundation that could have been taken out. He brought in good clean fill, he rolled it in, it all could have been brought up, and it could have been a whole different site. It's not going to make that big a difference. However, everybody here realizes that if somebody develops that particular lot, we're all pretty sure where the building's going to go. There ain't no mystery here involved in that. It's going to fill up that lot. So it will be a problem. Let's deal with it. Let's move on, because I got another one that's bugging me, and this ain't going to be no better. I want to know, and this goes back to people making decisions. I walked out back in my alley last night, met my new neighbor. Talked to him a few times. Kelly, I made a call to you on a Sunday. We had a problem. They were a little bit worried about a closing. We got it taken care of. I appreciate it. We've got a program together in town, and right now we've got 4, possibly 5 contractors that are going out and they're borrowing money and they're building homes, and they're putting themselves at risk doing it. There's no guarantee that anybody's going to buy these houses. Now, when we started this program, the program that Tony, I think Tony started it. Tony was behind it back in 2009. A lot of different ideas were said. People wanted to build townhouses. Tony stuck with the houses. Basically, what happened was we came up with a program that said, all right, here's what we'll do. When a buyer comes to the house, we're going to give them a 10% up to $10,000 reward, and we're going to greet them at a closing. and we're going to say, welcome to Lawrenceburg, thank you for choosing us to move to. It was going to be a smile on your face, kind of a happy type thing. Well, Sunday afternoon, I talked to the fella, and he told me, he says, I'm glad it's over with. I'm not quite getting the reception that I thought I would. Well, have we changed the policy? Because to a surprise to the builder and the homeowner, we had a person there representing the city that was there to ask, I need an itemized bunch of materials that you have paid for to come up with this $15,000. Now, that, since 2009, I have set in 30-plus closings on my own with owners, and that's never been asked, and it was never a part of any of this what redevelopment has put through. So my question is, here again, if there's been decisions made that we're going to change a policy, I want to have a conversation about it. I'm councilman at large, I'm a council, I am not on redevelopment, but I am also, out of pure courtesy, I'm one of the guys that has hung my neck out on the line 33 times borrowing $130,000 each time and wondering whether I was going to sell the house or not. So I do not need someone that is going to be sitting in a closing and when the guy is actually thinking of getting up and canceling a sale. So I want to know, in the first place, why we had a lawyer go to a closing when we haven't had it yet. And I want to know if there's been a policy change. Does anybody here know about it? Because it ain't making me happy at all. Because right now I've got 4 builders in town that have got notes. They are hanging their necks out, and Lawrenceburg has done a great job. This housing is a good thing. If you guys want to stop it, if you don't want it to happen no more, please do this. Talk to redevelopment, talk to council, and invite your builders in, because do not cut them off halfway in the middle of a house and take something out from underneath them.
I have 2 questions.
Let me answer that first, okay?
Okay.
Paul, I didn't know anything about it.
I believe you. After the conversation.
I did not know we asked for an itemized bill of goods.
That's ridiculous. You know how much the house costs.
That is not part of the plan. That is not part of the program. Because I'll be honest with you, I just pitched this program to Batesville because they were interested in it. And I had all good stories to tell. So I do not know about this. I don't know why you were at the closing.
There wasn't.
Who was?
Zach.
That is not acceptable. You should have been at the closing.
Or an appointment from redevelopment.
Why wasn't that? Why did we do something different?
In all fairness to Brian.
I've not gone to any of
No,
that.
okay. So I've been through, Kelly, I've been through 35 closings, and Tom's usually there. Tom is a greeter, he's very polite.
And he comes with a check.
Comes with the check, and Tom always says,
okay,
thanks for choosing welcome to Lawrenceburg. Now, Tom, what I would like to also say is I don't know that, Tom might have been there. But Tom, this guy didn't have that warm, fuzzy feeling, and I think everybody in this room wants to welcome people to Lawrenceburg.
Well, number one, too, we don't need invoices because we know how much the house costs, and then get it up to 10%. Up to $10,000, 10%.
10% up to 15.
Yeah, we changed it to 15 now. So all we need is the total cost of the house. How much is the buyer buying the house
It's okay,
for?
Pat, look, I did it. Zach didn't do it, Pat didn't do it, Tom didn't do it, Mr. Messmore didn't do it. This is 100%, these were all my decisions. I made all of these decisions. I thought they were the best decisions to make, and I apologize if anyone was offended.
I think we should give you a little background, okay?
No, that's not, we don't need a background.
Well, this is
Listen.
a different situation.
Well, I don't care, it is a different situation. The program says new home ownership in downtown Lawrenceburg is 10% up to 15,000.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Period.
Pat, it's okay. I don't think you're gonna help.
Period.
Okay, well,
Pat, we've had this situation before. There's been 2 or 3 people
Right.
that haven't needed this for a down payment. Here's the other thing. We've got a little 90-year-old lady that's probably going to be coming in here in the next month or so. I want her smiling when she leaves. If I hear anything any different, there's going to be some problems. Now, Dale, here's me and you. I think the world of you. But I'm going to say this. I need you to be here to be a lawyer. I don't need you changing something that we've had set up since 2009. That's coming from the heart.
Okay. All right. Any other old business? Comments from the audience? I entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to close. Thanks for coming. Bill.
Yo.
Yeah, that's for you. Yeah.
Do you see any problem with what we talked about Gus's answers?
Yeah,
I just started the meeting tonight, and we do need to have something.
Hey, the worst they can do.
I'm gonna steal some tea from him.
No, you won't, because they're in.
Premier Energy?
Yeah, we'll do something a little different to protect it, you know what I mean? We need to make some kind of niche.
We're done,
Some kind of niche. Kids won't tee it up with a boom bat or something.
I'll talk to you more.